Joanna Kaufman, who is instrumental in getting us through all the red tape for this very, very special Grove dedication. So, Joanna?
Hello, everybody. I'm pleased to be here today. This is great for us as well as for all of you, and a very appropriate kind of dedication that we're making here. I can't say much about the former use of this site, but I can tell you something about its present use. This site is approximately 35 acres, and there will be, when it's all completed, unfortunately this is the last part of the site that we're working on, there'll be 800 students living here and approximately 20 or 22 junior faculty families. This building, which is one of the last that we're working on, will house about 20 junior faculty, professors, and their families. So this is great. As you know, we have a hard time finding cheap housing and attracting faculty, so this should help us a lot. The students are all down in the other end. This is a primarily freshman campus, and it's just a great place for them to be. It's just the most beautiful housing I've ever seen for students. The upper part of the site is for recreation. It's open to the community. That was part of our agreement with the city, that anybody, all of the families in the neighborhood could come here and use the pool and use the track and just enjoy the campus. It's such a beautiful site, and we're so lucky to have been able to take over this site. We feel very fortunate that we have it now. Every building here has been completely gutted and remodeled and made to be seismically safe, reinforced, so that nothing will happen here should there be an earthquake. And in the process, we've been able to remodel every unit and just make it beautiful. The grounds here are superb also. These redwood trees, that the grove that we've dedicated, will be here for a long, long time. I can guarantee you all we don't take down a redwood on the Berkeley campus. So, unfortunately, the tree that was originally thought of to be dedicated is a birch tree over there, and it's going to be demolished as a part of the development of the senior citizen housing area, which will be over here. This site, which looks kind of full of weeds and a tractor, is going to be the site for 160 elderly. In addition, this one building here, which is one of the original buildings, will be for the elderly project. It will have their lounge space and their meeting rooms, their offices, and connect to their housing. That's the only new building that's been going on here. Otherwise, we've just taken all the existing buildings and remodeled them. Same with the grounds. We've just been taking the existing spaces and remodeling it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions later. And thank you all for coming. And that's it.
Now, Yuri Wada, who's the president of the Board of Regents, is going, and who is related to some people I think we all know who work at the School for the Blind now, is going to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Lowenfeld, on behalf of the Regents of the University of California, I am very honored to be invited to come here this afternoon in order to pay tribute to Dr. Lowenfeld and to see the Redwood Grove dedicated in his honor. It's really good. As a former executive of a nonprofit agency, I recognize how an institution can take on the characteristics of a creative, innovative, dynamic executive director. And I'm sure that the school, during his tenure here, has taken on many of the things that he believed in, because an institution becomes a living thing, and it becomes a living thing because of the example shown by the superintendent, which transforms itself to the staff and to the students. The University of California is indeed happy that the Redwood Grove is here and that it will be named the Dr. Lowenfeld Redwood Grove. Thank you very much for having me here.
Another representative of the university, and I want to emphasize how gracious the university has been in allowing us to do this. I work at the university, and this is the easiest thing I have ever done in my life at the university, and it's just been a pleasure. Now, Dr. Jay Enoch, who is the Dean of the School of Optometry, will say a few words.
Thank you, Amanda. Dr. Lowenfeld, friends of the School for the Blind, friends of the university. I'm pleased to speak in behalf of the University of California at Berkeley and the School of Optometry in honoring so distinguished a gentleman. We join all others today in recognizing this marvelous service that he has provided for so long and so ably as superintendent of the California School for the Blind. Without question, there is nobility in a life dedicated to the uplifting of those in our society who have physical impairment. Doubly so if it leads to giving people opportunity for meaningful and successful lives and hope of achievement. Dr. Lowenfeld is certainly world-renowned as an educator, innovator, and leader. We obviously must be concerned with the visually impaired. In our school, we're concerned and are trying to develop a center to serve this population. We seek to reach out and work with all the units in the Bay Area, the School for the Blind, the Western Blind Rehabilitation Center, the Lions Group, and on and on. So it's of special note that we honor someone who's achieved such unique success that cannot be talked about in terms of a few words or a few gestures. This is our gesture to express our thanks to this noble gentleman. We honor him in all manners. There is an old Yiddish proverb, "If I dealt in candles, the sun would never set." Dr. Lowenfeld has dealt in candles. May the sun never set on his grove, and certainly the sun will never set on him. Thank you.
Now I'd like to ask Phil Hatlin to come and say a few words. And we saved the best for last.
Berthold, the time that went into the planning of this event, the weeks and the months that Amanda and Sandy and some of the rest of us have discussed this and worked with the university, I really thought I was going to be ready for this day, but as people started coming in today, I realized that what a momentous occasion this is. Many of you don't know this because you don't necessarily know one another, but there are two groups of people here today. There are those of us who have shared Berthold's professional life, and there are many of you, and there are those who have shared his personal life. And I, among probably a relative few, have the rare privilege of spanning those two lives with Gretel and Berthold. So I know almost everyone here, but I know there are many of you who don't know one another because there are a good many of Gretel and Berthold's personal friends here who may not even be that aware of the tremendous contributions that this man has made to his profession. My dear and treasured friend Berthold, you are being honored today in a manner reserved for a few, and I am deeply moved by this event. Not only is the Redwood Grove fitting to dedicate to you, but this site is perfect. It holds countless memories for many people here today. Lynn Laird, Bob Campbell, George Fogarty, Liz Grelly, Toshi Takawa, and many, many others. Everett is here, Everett Wilcox, and for you and me also, Berthold. This plaque will not only serve as a reminder to countless future generations of the work of Berthold Lowenfeld, but we now know that this site will never be forgotten as a great school for the blind which once occupied these grounds. And for all of us who have a memory of the days of the California School for the Blind on this site, I think this is a particularly momentous day. When the history of education of blind children in the 20th century is written, there will be a handful of very prominent names. At least 3 are here today, and I want to mention the other 2, George Lee Abel, Professor Emeritus from San Francisco State University, and Everett Wilcox, also Superintendent Emeritus of the California School for the Blind. And I'm sure both of these and others present today will agree with me that Berthold Lowenfeld will be most prominent among educators of the blind of the 20th century. Like the redwood tree, he towers tall above us. This leads me to an attempt at an analogy between our honored friend and colleague and this redwood grove. As I think of redwood trees, 3 words come to mind immediately: beauty, strength, and timelessness. Berthold, you too are beauty. I am reminded of this every time I'm with you as I observe the beauty of your relationship with others, especially your wife, Gretel. Several years ago at your birthday party, I spoke of 3 examples which illustrate the beauty of this man, and I'll briefly repeat them again now. We often ask Berthold to be a guest speaker at San Francisco State University. Before he begins his presentation, he always takes the time to introduce himself individually to each student in a style which makes them know that who they are and what they do are important to this man. Several years ago, a second example, Berthold and I traveled together in Europe, and I had the rare privilege of watching as my colleagues at the University of Heidelberg met with Berthold, awed and entranced by this man whose fame is as great in Europe as it is in the United States. I had the privilege of working with Berthold for 2 years here at this School for the Blind. Another beautiful aspect of this man is that his office door was literally always open, and there were almost always children visiting in his office. His beauty was most obvious when he was with younger children at the School for the Blind. Berthold, you too are strength. You continue to be on the cutting edge of your profession. I wonder how many people here know that at this moment you have 2 major writings in press. One is a new chapter in a book to be published by Grun and Stratton. The other is a book review to be published in a German journal. And I have the rare privilege of probably being one of the few English reading people who will ever know of this publication, because Berthold shared most of it verbally with me as he was writing it. You are strength, Berthold. You took controversial stands that did not waver, even under what must have been tremendous pressure from your colleagues. And you were proven correct. In 1950, barely a year after Berthold became superintendent of this School for the Blind, he wrote the following: institutions and services for blind individuals unimpeded by further handicaps which separate the blind and keep them separated are regressive. Even though they may be temporarily beneficial to a blind individual, they are undesirable and inimical to the interest of the blind. Institutions and services that aim at the integration of the blind and instill in them the spirit of independence and strengthen those qualities and skills which will enable them to take their rightful place as members of their society are progressive, desirable, and in the best interest of the blind. Berthold wrote that not in 1980 or 84, but in 1950. In 1982, at another presentation, you stated this same position and then observed the following, quote, "In this matter of integration, I often compare myself to the cellist in an orchestra who was never seen to move his finger off the same note. When asked why, he replied that after all, he had found the right note while the rest of the players were still looking." Berthold, your strength will remind us all that it is better to be right than always to be popular. You too, Berthold, are timeless. Your writings and your speeches have been prophetic. Your books, Our Blind Children and the Changing Status of the Blind will remain current and vital reading for parents, for educators, and scholars for generations to come. You are the most creative, challenging, prolific author on blindness of our time. Your influence will be deeply felt for many decades. Redwood trees are beauty, they are strength, and they are timeless. Berthold, you are beauty, you are strength, and you are timeless.
Phil corrected me. The best is yet to come. Dr. Lowenfeld?
Thank you. I'm not often without words, but today I am. And I don't think I can really reply or comment on what has been said about me, because anything that I would add could be interpreted as vanity. And I'm not given to that, I hope not at least. But to what Phil was good enough to say about the redwood trees, I would like to add a fourth quality. They also turn a little they also tend to increase their circumference. And so have I. But I am really happy to see so many of my very, very good friends here. Phil has already mentioned two of them. Georgia Lee, I'm happy to see you, and I hope I see you often in the future. And I'm very, very happy to see Everett Wilcox and his wife here, and I'm grateful for them that they could come. I will limit my greetings to these two who are connected with me professionally, and not go into details in mentioning everyone who is here, because it would take me too long, and I would have stories to tell that are probably not coined for presentation at a meeting like this. I'm very happy to see so many of you, and I'm grateful to you for coming to this event. You see the plaque up there on the redwood stump. I saw it already. I was permitted to go up there before with Gretel, of course, and she has shared so many of my pleasures and tribulations, which are unavoidable in anybody's life, that I can't pay tribute to her, because that would be the wrong thing to do between husband and wife. But I can say to you that whatever I have done is to a large extent due to her support. And for that, I have to thank you, and I have to thank her as long as I live. But I don't want to prolong your standing capacity, because it's not easy to stand up for any length of time in the sunshine, and I hope that after we are through with this presentation, you will all join us under that beautiful tree for some refreshment. I thank you all for coming, and I'm touched and I'm grateful for your being with me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. There is a guest book to sign and some lovely food under the tree, and please stay a while and talk.
Bob Ballard, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing?
Good to see you. Campbell, how are you? Fine. Good to see you.
I'm Irene McConnell.
Oh, I see. Yes. Thank you so much for coming over and saying hello.
Hello, how are you?
I should take you for it. Pleasure meeting Mary.
Don't do it like I used to. They're working hard. The business has almost gone down to nothing. He's been building roads, but now he's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still doing.
Joanna and Bob with you. It's great.
We're doing fine.
He was having a great time with it. He told me about a year ago.
Yeah, we miss him now.
Oh, he's not doing it. It's
Alfred Fried, the very famous musicologist and music critic, and Edith Fried, his wife, who is in her own an expert in German literature. So we have many things in common because I love both literature and Edith, and I love both music and art.
Hi, Berthold. This is really a great occasion. It's fun for me to be here, and I'm glad I was able to come.
I don't know whether he's...
We ready?
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I remember the very early days when Berthold first came to the School for the Blind. 2 or 3 instances that I thought summarized the whole thing for a very different kind of regime that we'd never seen before. One of them was this, one on a very cold, very rainy night. One of the counselors came rushing in by Dr. Lowenfeld and said, "The boys are up there smoking in the common room." And he said, "Well, you want them to go out in the rain?"
My shift.
And on another occasion, I remember coming up to see him about something, and a little kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old, just leaving, a little girl, and he said to her, Janie, or whatever her name was, he said, "Will you come back and help me again tomorrow?" So I thought those 2 things sort of summed up a very different, very desirable kind of an atmosphere that was further developed from there on out.
Wonderful day I've experienced in a long, long time. I'm so happy I'm going to get to see you again real soon.
Never. With all the students present, never used a microphone. He didn't need it. We didn't have them, but I mean, he didn't need it.
It's so simple. This is why I'm giving
He's always taken a few extra.
Hello there.
Hi, Pete. How you doing?
Occasion to be here.
Say hello. Fine.
fine.
Good.
Enjoyed it. I'm glad
Nice
we
occasion.
had the opportunity to honor Dr.
Yes, I did.
Lowenfeld.
Yeah, they ought to have
He
grill.
will have something to remember him by.
Never stop.
I appreciate the many years I've known you, Berthold, and started out working with you in 1960, and it's been a great career. You've helped it along.
Berthold, it is a real pleasure to be here today, and I recall being at several meetings with you. The thing I remember most, I guess, is your ability at being a bartender. You mix some awfully mean martinis in Manhattan. Good luck to you, and it's a pleasure being here.
Würzburger out in front of that camera for a change instead of behind it. And I just want to tell you that it's great being here with you today and to have a chance to dedicate this fine grove of redwoods to a great man, Berthold Lowenfeld, and they'll be standing long after everyone here today is in dust. And I know that you and Gretel have enjoying your retirement, and let's hope that you have some time to get together with the rest of the group of people that love you very much, and that's the people in the professional field of blindness. Thank you. Still running?
Took my finger off.
Okay.
That takes it off, yeah. Great.
All right.
Real nice. Do you want to do
you.
anything else?
Now I want you. Get over there.
Oh gosh, I've got to say something.
Well, just,
Wait, let me think about it.
oh, just come right off the top of your head.
I'm not good at that.
That's the only way to do it. If you think about it, it just is no good.
I want to say how beautiful this day was. I think that everything the speaker said, especially Phil, holds true from myself. And I just am so proud of everything that you've done for our profession, and am happy that we had the opportunity to celebrate this with you today. I love you.
It's Sunday.
Are you expecting us to say something intelligent?
All I want you to say is
Hi.
hello, right?
Hello.
And say something about today and your past remembrance of this gentleman.
She's recruiting people as babysitters for the next parent
Did she get you? Did she get you?
She finds it useful here, this meeting,
Did she?
because they are all ready to do it.
Did she get you?
Yeah. Did she get me?
To get him on there.
I'd like to, Pete, now that you're retired, would you like to volunteer babysitting on the parent workshop?
What day is this?
That's right, that's right. I was the first.
The first one, yeah.
How long ago? How long ago?
How long ago?
1951. 1951.
And you came?
34 years.
Will be January. In January.
That's when you came.
January 2nd.
Yeah, that's when you
1951.
She made the civil service examination.
That's right.
As a counselor.
Mrs. Abel was on the oral board.
Was on the oral board, yeah.
And you were on the oral
I was
board.
on the oral board. Superintendent.
Right.
And then the problem was that the California School for the Blind had some difficulties in accepting minorities.
Really? Right.
Yes. And they were in the kitchen all right, but not in any professional.
I didn't. I was
kitchen
the
and
first.
janitor. Yeah, that was all right.
Congratulations, my dear, for being the first.
And he didn't. It wasn't easy for him.
Well, I had my.
He had his
fights
problems
stand,
to get.
but it was nice. It was good.
I enjoyed it.
Was a good
And
fight.
I didn't have sense enough to know, because I was coming from probation department here, and I didn't have. He kept saying to me, if you have any difficulty, my office is open to you. I said, I don't anticipate any problems. Later on, I found out why.
What the difficulties were. There were some.
It
was a good time. It was a
And
good
I
time.
will be.
I didn't know that.
Young for that.
Yes, indeed. And I saw your offspring. So here comes the famous photographer.
It's got sound. So say something, my dear.
Oh, our love and best wishes, and couldn't happen to a nicer person. Right?
Right.
Oh, you have.
Oh, this was a very nice occasion.
This was very, very nice. Yes. it was so good to see Dr. Lowenfeld again.
Yeah.
He's a remarkable man, isn't he?
And to see the former students and
Yes.
former teachers.
Yes.
Really a treat.
And I said, if people didn't change, I would know who they were. They all keep changing.
Right, don't we all, Dorothy? All right, you keep, all right.
You know, and it was a very
The only
lovely
reason I
occasion.
knew about it
Great
was
to see
that
old friends. Barb
Phil
and Lynn
taught
and
my class on
Liz
Thursday and mentioned
Petey Romero and all the rest of us that are around here today.
hot-footed.
Good. I'd like to say, Dr. Lowenfeld, that a lot of my life was influenced by my being here at the school under his tenure, and I just want to thank you, Dr. Lowenfeld, very much, because the older I got, the more I began to realize how important it was for me to be here. And I'll be eternally grateful for the opportunity.
It's on.
Well, now Jerry used to hang around here.
I was here as a student with
All right.
Dr. Lowenfeld, and although it was not easy many times, it definitely was a growing experience, and he was a firm guide, a very firm guide. And I thank him for it now, although at the time I know I didn't appreciate it.
Okay. Michael, do you want to say anything?
Well, it's just I'm very aware of this as a historic occasion.
Oh yeah.
I know, yeah. I don't quite know. Maybe you didn't remember the full spelling or what the reason was.
Yes.
Not really, not really. No, we've never been very much in contact. But
That's what Pete got at his retirement.
Yeah.
So now he's the official photographer.
Right.
How much does that thing weigh?
It was a really special morning.
Why are we doing something like that? Then you didn't move the wall. Yeah, you did.
That's what Dawn resurrected.
Thanks for coming.
Bob, can I get you to say something on the tape here for Doc Lowenfeld?
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Well, Dr. Lowenfeld was ahead of his time. I mean, he was into mainstreaming long before the word was coined. And he was also into equal opportunity in terms of providing all people an opportunity to work in the field of blind education. He hired me as an administrator long before opportunities for black men.
You caught me unawares here, but I mean, it wouldn't take much to say what a wonderful period that was, that we were associated with each other, and we had a mutual respect and a mutual regard which will last forever.
Go.
Well, Berthold, we wish you all the nice relaxation that you'll probably not take advantage of. It's been a wonderful day. Saluting you. Another series of honors that you well deserve. You still make the best martini I've ever known.
It was very nice to meet you and your wife through time. I'm glad to have had a chance to meet you. If half the pictures that I took today come out the way I want, then it'll be a real nice souvenir, and I'll make sure that you get something.
It was nice knowing you. I was one of your kids in the actually it was late 40s and early 50s. And I enjoyed coming here today. It was very, very good.